A remote sugarcane settlement in Natal. Rural calm destroyed by one of the bloodiest massacres of a local civil war. At 3 this morning, the killers burst into this home and opened fire, killing 3 men, 6 women, a boy and a girl. Stunned survivors say then the murder gang set fire to other homes and vehicles close by. The object, terror. And today, surviving villagers were packing up and moving out. They insist the killers belonged to Inkatha, Chief Butalese's organisation, and that their victims were sympathetic to the rival UDF. The massacre may have been terrible vengeance for another murder. The police report the stabbed body of a black man found nearby. Whatever the motive, the battle for the political allegiance of Natal's black population rages on. Until today, it had been hoped the pace of intercommunal violence in Natal was slowing, after talks between the warring factions and appeals from church leaders, including Archbishop Desmond Tutu. On one side stand the military-style brigades of Zulu Chief Butalese's Inkatha organisation, conservative in its opposition to apartheid, anti-sanctions, anti-ANC violence. Against Inkatha, the UDF, more radical, close to the ANC, and effectively banned since February under South Africa's emergency, but still campaigning for black support. Before today's massacre and destruction, already 700 had died in a feud among the black majority, dividing their opposition to white rule.
Here, National Park today reveals the slaughter that threatens to wipe out the great beast. These elephants have been gunned down by ivory poachers. The manner of their killings is particularly brutal. The poachers used AK-47 rifles, spraying the elephants with dozens of bullets. Chainsaws were used to cut their tusks from their faces. Since the mid-70s, it's estimated 85% of Kenya's elephant population has died in this way. Daphne Sheldrick runs an orphanage for baby elephants whose mothers have been killed by poachers. The babies have to be rescued within a day, otherwise they'd starve or be eaten by lions. This young bull, only recently brought in from the bush, still appears to be in a state of shock after seeing his mother and the rest of the herd slaughtered. If they're to survive, the orphans need constant attention. Touching is vital. In the wild, the mother elephant would never be more than a few inches away. The human substitutes for the dead mother even sleep alongside the young animals to prevent them from fretting. Persuading the babies to feed was another problem, until someone thought of using a blanket to make a passable imitation of the underside of a mother elephant. Underneath, the young animal was quite happy to take the milk. Baby elephants continue to need bottle feeding until they're 2 years old. The key figure in helping the young orphans return to the wild is a mature female called Eleanor. She was raised by Daphne Sheldrick and seems happy to adopt youngsters and take them out into the park, teaching them how to survive without human help. Dozens of animals have been saved and returned to the wild, but Daphne Sheldrick accepts she's fighting a losing battle.
Something must be done to stop the demand for ivory, to stop people in America, Britain and places like that buying the end result, you know, carved ivory. After all, nobody needs ivory, and as long as there's a demand for ivory, elephants are going to be killed in Africa.
The incentive for poachers has never been greater. Ivory prices have more than doubled over the last 2 years. The tusks of a mature bull like this one would fetch £1,000 each on international markets. The scale of poaching in Africa is illustrated by the ivory room in neighbouring Tanzania. These tusks are the ones confiscated from poachers who were caught. The authorities accept it represents a tiny fraction of the illegal ivory trade. Nevertheless, 3,000 elephants died in agony to produce the tusks in this room alone. Some had been just a few months old. Environmentalists warn the African elephant will disappear altogether within the next 10 years unless there's concerted action to close down the international ivory markets.